Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, I want to talk about, and you brought this topic, but they're calling this man, my man, and I love this guy's one of the smartest dudes. I've met this man twice in my life. Uh, OVO Michael, they call him Michael Eric Dyson. They call him OVO Michael now.
You said the
Here
world
he is talking
sees
about Drake.
you're the same thing, kind of defending him as little more than a black man.
Right. Well, exactly. Well,
You think that's the way the world is now? That this country sees Drake as little more than a black man?
look, Rick Ross, one of the rappers, was calling him a white boy. So
Yeah.
my point is that you can call him a white boy. I'm saying, when I say little more, I'm not saying that Drake is not regarded as a pop star of the first magnitude. You know, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, he's up there. I mean, he's an incredible figure who's transcended many barriers. So no, of course I acknowledge his Promethean, prolific characters are a hip hop artist. But I'm saying for all of you who are calling him a white boy, let him get caught at the wrong place at the wrong time. He's just another black person. That's what I was trying to suggest. So you're trying to delegitimize him as not belonging to our culture when the best of our culture has been more expansive. And guess what? Barack Obama, whom you love, was half black, so to speak. He was mixed race.
Right.
Many other black people, Zadie Smith, you know, Sade, there are many African-American people who are mixed race who have legitimacy, but there's an undercurrent of assault upon his legitimacy as a human being. And to call him a culture vulture because he begins to experiment. Jay-Z made stuff with Spanish and he was seen as experimenting broadly. Drake does it. You're a culture vulture trying to rip somebody's culture off. Be consistent and understand the beauty, the power, the diversity of blackness, and one person can't exhaust it all.
I'm disagreeing with Eric Michael Dyson.
They call him OVO Michael. They call him OVO Michael now.
Well, we're gonna call him OVO bitch because he missed.
No, oh, hey, we can't do that. We can't do that. I respect that man a ton. We can't call him. I didn't talk about that young lady earlier. You gotta respect that. I really didn't have to respect that young lady. We ain't gotta do that to Mike. You said what now?
You kind of didn't, but it was offline. But it is.
Yeah, but I didn't do it on air.
I'm gonna say this. I think he's missing the mark in what everybody is saying, and more so specifically what Kendrick said. So you're telling us to receive this person, to welcome this person, when this person in the same breath turns around and says, "Oh, you talking to us like you a slave," and all these different things.
No, he said like you're trying to free the slaves.
Like you're trying to like same difference. But you know what I mean? Yes. So like we talked about that, and I'm like, okay, it's one thing to, and funny enough, I was talking about this earlier today with the comic, and he called Drake sweet because we were talking about Serena Williams. And he was listening to people, and I was like, well, these could be people that you said that she dated or whatever. People date, things don't work out, right? Blah, 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 blah. He's like, yeah, Drake is sweet anyway. I said, I'm not going to call him necessarily sweet more than a fetishizer, though. Like, I feel like that's what he does. Like, he fetishizes black women like he does the culture, right? Mm-hmm. And with that being said, it's like this kid actively says that I grew up in a Jewish neighborhood. I went to Jewish schools. I had a bat mitzvah, all these different things, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I'm not saying that, oh, you can't lean into your blackness because you just met your dad, because your dad is coming around because you are now Drake. And so, but you've surrounded yourself with people. And I'm not going to say that it's necessarily a gimmick, but you have definitely done things where it does come across like every other day. It's like Megan said, you are in somebody else's hood, posted up like a bad bitch. You got a different accent. Who are you? And I think it goes back to not knowing who you are and trying to find your identity, which is why people feel like you are a culture vulture.
I agree.
And so I believe in this case, Eric missed the mark in what people were actually saying. You felt like, and he probably has some sort of empathy because he's a lighter skinned brother, and where people have probably.
Oh, there you go. That's what I was going to say. Keep going. That's what I was going to say. Keep going.
So you have some sort of empathy toward him because of your experience, and I'm not going to take that away from you. But you ultimately, and even if you didn't bring Rick Ross into this, or a Metro, but he didn't bring Metro Boomin, but like he used Rick as an example.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't say, all you could say is white boy, but you didn't negate anything that fucking Kendrick said. Like, you really couldn't stand on that outside of the culture vulture thing. And it's like, you're this person, and I'm not saying that you can't lean into your blackness, but it's also a journey and experience that we have had, especially as Black Americans, and I know they racist up in Canada too.
Mm-hmm.
And so Drake probably has his own thing that he's dealing with because he grew up around white people and white Jews at that. Like, not like, and I'm not gonna take his experience from him, but I'm saying is that we live two completely different lives. And you can say, yeah, he could get pulled over, he's still gonna be Black at the end of the day. And Barack Obama grew up in motherfucking Chicago at some point. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he was in Hawaii, you know, at one point with his grandparents, but he spent the course of his like adulthood, he was in the hood. So it's like, it's different. So your experience, you are vicariously living those through people that actually went through those things. Like we said here, you make great music. Nobody's taking that away from you. But you knew who to attach yourself to get those things. And now you, like he said, you have transcended into a certain realm where it is like you are on that Kanye, Beyonce, Taylor Swift level. Nobody's taking that from you. But like, these are the facts. That's just what it is, and just call it what it is. But for you to say, oh, Drake gets pulled over, man, the nigga is Drake. It ain't like you getting pulled over and a white person isn't gonna know who you are. No,
you're right.
So I just feel like he missed it in that area, in that realm of what people were really trying to articulate. So just like I was easily got up here and was like, oh, he fetishizes Black women. He does. You got a baby by a poor escort. I ain't gonna call her a porn star, but an escort. And everybody was shocked. What is it? Who are you? Do you know who you are? Because I know who I am.
Hey, that's real.
And I feel like if somebody asked him that, it would be a pause and a very curated answer.
Which is real. I mean, I just think the main thing I'm surprised Michael Eric Dyson didn't get the idea of the fact we're nobody, unless you're like delusionally talking about his blackness, nobody's indicting anyone for being biracial or light skinned. Is we don't like that dude for the way he rocks. It ain't about anybody else being light skinned or dark skinned and them not having access to blackness. We're saying his access to blackness needs to be checked because he seems to conveniently want to use his blackness and not want to be all the way in for us. And that ain't just because if you light skinned. It's some darker Black folks too that we feel that way about. It ain't got nothing to do with him being light skinned.
Yep.
You know, it's some other people that we need to check on too, and you know, check on some of that black card and see if it's punch card out or not. You know, it's some other people too that we need to look into that. So and that was the one thing I'm surprised he wasn't able to grasp that difference. That was really interesting to me.
He saw himself in him.
Yeah, but it just felt like it was felt like it was I don't want to say unwarranted. I'm just saying, I'm trying to figure out what I mean by that. It felt like he didn't really look at it as a totalitarian thing, like of like in a fool. He just like, oh, they just hating on because he light skinned and they saying that's not Black. I'm not saying that nobody's not Black. Everybody's still not Black. But his access to blackness is a very convenient thing, and he changes up himself to be something within blackness that's not him. Isn't that phony too, Mr. Dyson? And I love you, man. Look, he's one of the first cats that maybe want to be a professor. So I all reference to him and all his abilities and intellect, but he's dead wrong on this. or he's not looking at it as a full
That's why
circle.
I was like, oh, this is hilarious. Because and you just don't get it. And some people not like they say like they can't relate because you know what I say all the time, like I don't understand, I don't relate, I don't understand. But for him, I think he saw and what people were saying, and he felt like people was trying to take away from his blackness. That's something that was happening to him, and so that's why I felt like he gave that answer. Sorry, it's a dog. She
No,
got him over here.
no, you all good. You all good. You all good. I don't know. Shout out to you, Michael Eric Dyson. Like I said,
I'll take my statement back. Sorry,
thank
Eric.
you. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. I might even cut it out just for you.
Yeah, I'm like, I said what I said. Like, hey y'all, if you like what you see here on Everyone Needs an Aquarius, be sure to hit that button right there. It'll take you to more clips, and be sure to like, subscribe, and share our podcast. See you back next time.